Hi everyone. So I've got kind of an interesting little lock today. This is I guess the brand is AGC. This is a Portuguese lock. It says Portugal on the key right there. And this is, as you can see from the shape of the key, this is a 4-directional pin tumbler lock or a cruciform lock. This came in 2 pieces. I got this from one of the lock pickers I know in Portugal, Peace Weapon. And this is the exterior cylinder, I imagine, and this is the interior cylinder. So the difference obviously is the size, and then if you look inside the cylinder, there are only pins on one of the 4 sides of the interior. And then, if you can see down there, all 4 directions of the exterior do have pins, so this would be the higher security version of the 2. So kind of interesting, the keyway and the key are not uniform, so you can only put the key in one direction. It does not work unless it is the right shape, or sorry, the right orientation, and that's because the top section of the key here, it's a little hard to see, but the top section of the key is thicker than the other ones. So it only goes in facing up, where the thicker or the more open section of the keyway rests. It's about 2 millimeters. This top one is a little wider than 2. And then these ones on the side, this one's about 2 right here. These 2 feel a little tighter than 2. So I'm wondering if all 4 of them are different or if that's just some kind of manufacturing tolerance issue. But because the top and the left are the widest ones, that's where I tensioned from when I picked this. I explained it a little bit in the video, but I'm just using this very short, it's not even a hook, it's kind of a flag. This is the kind of pick I use oftentimes for high pin count locks where you have to go up and to the sides. But here it's just because I'm working in this middle section, kind of between all the pins, and I need something very small that I can kind of rotate different directions and push all the way back. And then once I get this onto a pin, sometimes I just want to be able to push it, directly in, and not have to do any kind of levering or anything. So this pick worked pretty well for this. I do not gut this in the video. I was going to gut it and show the pins here, but even this one, you can see the screws are not in great shape. I don't want to strip them out. I'm kind of afraid to do that. So I'm not 100% sure of the pinning of this, but it definitely feels like it has a whole bunch of spools in it. You'll see I get a lot of core movement and counter rotation within this. So the other interesting thing is, if you look here, the way these pins are oriented, or the pin chambers. So the top one has 4, and the other 3 each have 3. The key is cut for 4 on each side. But the interesting thing is, I believe that this prevents you from removing the key in any orientation except the correct one, with the thickest part at the top. Because that 3rd pin, if it's on any of these sides, it has nowhere to go, right? So the key won't remove until it's reoriented back to the correct way, and then it comes out. And also because of that, if you look at where these line up, they all line up to the same spot. So that was one of the reasons I didn't want to gut this, is because I'm afraid if I push the plug out, what's going to happen is, the follower is going to keep all those pins in place, but then when I push the follower back, I'm going to get 4 pins that come out all at once. There's no offsetting on these, so it's not like I could, move it a little bit, get 1 pin in, and move it a little bit more and get another pin in. All 4 pins are going to come out at the same time, so repinning this, I think, would be very difficult. So I just don't want to bother with that for something that's not incredibly difficult to pick. It's not like I feel like I need to document every step of it so that you can see it's unaltered. But yeah, this one was not super hard. Again, it's got a bunch of spools. 13 pins is kind of annoying, and having to move around kind of the 4 different orientations, but not a super difficult lock to pick. So with that, we'll get to the next section, and I'll have it up in a vise and see it picked. All right, got my lock up in the vise here. There's the key. And just gotta make sure I put this in the right way. The key only goes in one direction. There we go. Okay. So you can see the key works. I think I'm actually going to start tensioning from the top here. I may switch at some point. So I'm using a very, it's not even a hook. This is a, I guess like a center flag. It's very, very short, since I am working just in this middle section here around the 4 rows of pins. And it's pretty thin, so I can actually get it like, can't see what I'm doing, but I'm sliding it down the side so that it's not on top of the pins. And then that still gives me the opportunity to lever the pick a little bit. I do have to keep bouncing between the 4 sides just to find the binding pins here, but they give pretty good feedback, so it's not, once you've found it, it's pretty easy to identify that you're on the right pin. Gonna switch real quick to the side here, because I think this side is completely set. So I don't know the pinning of this lock because I've never gutted it, but it definitely feels like it's got a whole bunch of spools. There we go. Okay, so you can see that is open. I'm not going to rotate it more than, I guess, what I just did, 45 degrees or so, because the way that this lock is configured, I'm pretty sure that the pins will go into the wrong chambers if I keep rotating it. So now that I've got it picked, I'm going to take it out of the vise and just show the exterior a little bit so that you can see it. So you can see right there that's where the pin chambers are. And if you look at the way that they're configured, there's 4 on the top and then there's 3 on each side. And the reason why there's only 3 is because then this last pin right here has nowhere to go, I believe, when you're rotating the lock. So that prevents you from pulling the key out unless it's back in the default spot with the 4 pins on top. So, but you can see this has not been altered. I guess I could have taken the pins out, but these screws are not great. They're kind of stripped already, and I didn't want to deal with removing it. So that's one reason why I'm not getting it, and also because these pin chambers all line up, I'm not exactly sure how a follower would work with getting all the pins in there again. So I'm not going to get this one, but there you go. I'm going to close it back up. So yeah, that is an AGC Lock from Portugal. 4 directions. What was that? 4 plus 9, 13 pins. Sometimes these are called cruciform locks. So there you go.